What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Chasing the Tide Saltwater segment on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm Dustin, your host, here this evening, trying to get this little session recorded. Spent some time on the water the past couple weeks. Even went chasing greenfish. I've been having a little bit of fun out there chasing redfish. So, it's that time of year, springtime, got them on the move. So, with that, we got a special guest tonight, a man from Louisiana, also known as Redfishology. It's his Instagram handle, Phillip Logan. About to bring him on right now and give him a warm welcome to the show. There he is. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Awesome, brother. How are you?
Hanging in there, just getting rolling after night shifts, getting set up and everything. Got a tournament tomorrow and
That'll be
trying
fun,
to get things rolling, man. But we like to start out the show a little introduction and backstory. So just let everybody know who you are, where you're from, your fishing background, what led you into that plastic boat, man.
All right, man. Sounds good, man. That's a long story.
The condensed version. The condensed version.
I'll do my absolute best.
Yeah, man. It's all good.
All right, man. My name's Phillip Logan. Originally, I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. Now that hit some people because the accent, because I moved here so early. They say, you're not. There's no way you're a Yankee. But
dang.
We moved to Louisiana when I was 9. So I've been here 30 plus years. Like I said, originally East Coast guy. I've lived in and around New Orleans, with my family for about the past 30 plus years now. Even up there, growing up there, the first few years of my life, that's those formative years. And my family was not only were we close to the water in proximity, it was just close to my family. Yeah. And my dad was a mariner. He sailed a lot. Myself and my brother, we swam before we walked. We literally grew up on the water, in the water, in one form, fashion. From anything that would float, we would take it because we could only swim so far, and we'd be digging for clams or hunting for crabs or whatever we were doing. And, there was times to where we'd have some storms. And one time in particular, an old piece of dock. Probably, when you're younger and smaller, things seem bigger, right? But this old piece of dock floated up on the beach. And now bear in mind, the beach right on the Atlantic Ocean is only about a couple hundred yards from our front door. So this old piece of dock floated up essentially on our front yard. It was probably 6x6, 6x8 or something like that. And it had a little life left in it. It would still float. It would still float. Myself and my little brother, we got on it. We found some pieces of driftwood, took a big rock, found an old scrap of rope off one of the old dinghies on the beach, made an anchor, and we were some young Jacques Cousteaus, man. We were
just out exploring, right? Yeah.
That was my first vessel, man. We commandeered this old piece of dock, and that became our first vessel, man. And cool. Not long after that, we moved down here. And, my folks did their absolute best to get me involved in things. They knew moving a kid that age, it's easy to get caught up, which, kind of did end up eventually happening. I had some wild years, my teenage years. But one of the first things my dad did when we got down here is he got really close. He had ended up meeting a guy at the hardware store and got really close with a guy born and raised, down the bayou.
Yep.
And, Louisiana boy through and through. And this guy really made sure he showed us the ropes, hunting, fishing. We were cleaning guns, spooling reels, at super young age.
That's how I was too. I wasn't in the bayou, but I was in the coastal low country in Georgia where I grew up.
Right.
And that was your rite of passage as a young kid was shooting at 22 for the first time or learning how to cast a bait caster. And then, your uncles, and everybody, Dustin, you going fishing with us, that's it, and that's how it is in Louisiana too. It's a lifestyle down there to be on that water. That's how a lot of families provide, food
Definitely,
on their
man.
table, with the resource down there. That's cool, man.
Definitely.
That's cool.
Definitely, dude. And he was one of those guys, man. So we had an excellent role model. This guy was a friend of my father's, but he was more like a big brother / uncle. There wasn't a time after we got close. Every time he went duck hunting, he'd take us. I mean, he had us every time he was hitting the woods for the squirrels and rabbits, he'd take us. He's going to run trot lines and limb lines, in the rivers for the river cats. He's taking us. So the just wrap, kind of like you said, condensed. Fast forward a little bit, man. We would get in the flatboat. You could only get so far to the duck ponds. And this is before mud motors and surface drives. So we'd put the P-row and we put the P-rows in the flatboat, run the flat as far as we could, park it in the marsh, flip the P-rows out. So, as kids, we paddling these P-rows for another mile or so to get to the blind. You start seeing redfish tails.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now. So it became a thing for us. I don't know if cast and blast was even
cast and blast. Yeah.
I mean, here it is. We're 11, 12 years old, and cast and blast just became part of our routine, man. So from a piece of dock to a P-row, I've been in small boats my whole life, man. And I just love the fact, that I've always loved history, always loved nature. And I believe like kayak fishing is that perfect marriage of the two. You're living life at by the paddle stroke. You're living your life at like 1 mile per hour, 2 miles per hour, super close in proximity to nature, super close in proximity to the water and to the animals, whether it be alligators or the redfish, right? And just being able to have that close proximity, and it makes you think, if you're able to kind of conjure that frame of mind, this is how my ancestors, and this is how the native people have engaged with the resource for thousands of years. We're not the first people to get in small little bateaux, small little boats, and go and pluck redfish out these ponds. There's no way, So it's just an awesome feeling to be able to that history in nature just to become full circle and like that perfect marriage in kayak fishing.
Yeah, and that close proximity, you hit the nail on the head right there. Ain't nothing like sneaking up on them and they swimming right by you. Just drop your rod tip down and they slam your lure right there by you.
Can't beat it, dude.
Yeah, you can't beat that at all, man. So we'll kind of bounce around a little bit on some of this stuff, but the trends in Louisiana, as far as you can remember back as a young kid, the fishery, it's the limits are quite a little more lenient over there compared to Texas. So y'all still got it going on, huh? Redfish is still on fire, right? It's the fishery's healthy for sure.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. When we first moved down here, right before that, I believe it happened right before that, and I don't remember all the details because I was a kid and the adults were paying attention to all the rules and regs. Yeah. But there weren't any limits.
Oh, dang. That's how it was when I was a kid. You fill up that cooler with 100 trout. No problem.
A free-for-all, right? So, but I'm going to tell you, man, we have the amount of recreational anglers multiplied by the thousands of charter boats that are running on a daily basis. With all that said, man, our fishery, in terms of redfish and speckled trout, numbers, they're still there in full swing, still fully healthy, even though we have the five person limit on the reds, even though we have the 25 per person limit on the speckled trout. Now, speckled trout, on the other hand, I mean, I'm not going to get into the limits and that whole controversy that's brewing right now in the state, but we have the quantity. Mm-hmm. Y'all and the Florida guys got the quality. We have
some good ones the other day. You had posted a trip at little mothership run. Y'all had some pretty decent.
Well, come on,
decent ones on.
A 20-inch trout, 3-pound trout ain't nothing to them Baffin Bay, monsters.
Oh yeah, that's a different breed down there in that lower Laguna and Baffin area.
The Indian Lagoon freaking gators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
So, but we definitely whacked them, dude. We definitely whacked them. We had I mean, easily a 3-man limit in 2 hours. In 2 hours between 14 to 20 inch speckled trout.
Oh yeah,
Now,
that's good. Good
man, redfish, dude. Redfish, it's nothing. It's nothing to see 100 redfish within a 5-minute paddle. If you're in a mile to 2 mile radius,
just how many fish
there
are in there.
It's nothing to see 100 redfish on some days.
Yeah, it's like depends on what pond you go into. You might go in one pond and be a little group here and there, and then that next one just slap full.
Yeah, man, you just keep on poking and pushing and polling.
Yeah, pushing and polling.
Next thing you know, you see a group of 10. Then you see a school of 30, and then you see a whole bunch of pods of 5s and 2s and 3s. And before the day's over, you've seen 100 redfish if you're keeping count. Now the flounder, and I'm just gonna mention those 3, I guess, because that's the
slam.
3.
Yep, yes, sir.
The flounder have definitely not shown up. Even in my lifetime, I've noticed a pretty drastic decline over the past 5 years. There are some healthy signs. There are some good signs. I mean, I'm seeing some up in northern Plaquemines Parish already.
Yeah,
and it's kind of early. It's kind of early, man. And I'll be pushing. I'll be pulling through the ponds, sight fishing redfish, and I'm kicking up flounder. So I'm happy about that, man. I'm happy about that.
You see them little cotton ball puffs. See, that's the flounder, because when he flips off, you see them little puff, the little puff of that mud. And that's it. This last year was one of the better years I've had targeting flounder in the last 3 to 5 years.
Dude, over here
it was good. It was good to go.
Over here, southeast. Now southwest, they're still on pretty consistently, man. But southeast Louisiana, man, I'm gonna tell you, pretty much anybody will echo the same sentiment. They just haven't shown up, dude. They just have not shown up, man. And people are still catching them here and there, bro. But it's just not like it used to be. And if you were to ask most people that, even guides, now there's a few guys that got some stuff figured out in honey holes and whatnot, but not the majority by any means. And it's just one of those things that is pretty much accidental for most of us nowadays. You hook a flounder, it's just because you were bouncing a bug jig on the right shoreline or something.
Yeah, the right spot, right time, little drain, little ambush point, or something like that. So we get into that now. Hey, talk about springtime. It's heating on up. The water temp warmed up. What's some of the redfish tactics that you got going on? How are you targeting right now? You all just strictly sight casted right now?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. I was kind of hoping you'd ask me about sight fishing, man, because if not, I might expose myself on how spoiled I am. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, just the majority of the time, not only do I want to sight fish, I'm able to sight fish. Right. And now and even when the conditions aren't super, exactly ideal for it, because we've had an extremely windy spring so far. Yeah. Dude, it's been nuts. It's been like a baby hurricane every day. Now, so that means, our water's already not the cleanest. Now, we get some clean water. Now, don't let those guys lie to you. We get some gin clear stuff over here in the right times in the right places, all the right conditions. You'll definitely find some gin clear water. But, so you got a lot of churned up water, a lot of high tide, I don't even say high tides, because our water, our tide table or our water levels are actually affected more by the wind than the tidal range. Honestly, man, the tidal range is very, there's not much of a tidal range. And, especially when you compare to places like, South Carolina, where you got a 7 to 9 foot tidal range twice a day or something like that.
That's just like Georgia.
Bananas, it's just nuts.
Yep, sure is.
But, so all right, springtime, man. You said it already, dude. The fish are beginning and have already really begun, even though we've had some seasonably late cold fronts, which has kind of socked us in the jaw a few times here. With the in terms in regards to water temps, because our water temps are just now starting to get out of the 60s. They were upper 60s, and they were hitting the mid 70s, and then those cold fronts knocked it right back down.
Yep.
So now the fish are happy, dude. They're transitioning. They're transitioning into their happy fish patterns. dude, the marsh interior and exterior, especially interior right now, because a lot of the shrimp are moving out. But dude, they're smack full of bait. The water temperatures are in the mid 70s. You know, the surface temps are right at like 74.6, pushing 75. Yep. So, you know, what we're seeing is with the influx of so much bait, you know, and it's just a common sense thing. We don't need a professional or a expert to tell us, man.
Right.
The big fish eat the little fish, dude. I mean, you follow that, man. So honestly, dude, I have to say that we are extremely fortunate, man. And I want like I'm tooting our horn over here, but blowing smoke. But I'm gonna tell you, man, dude, Louisiana, we're extremely fortunate to have probably, if not the best, year-round fishery. So we're super fortunate, man, that we have such access to such an amazing resource.
For sure.
So, but this time of year, dude, like I said, it's starting to get warm. Tons of bait, man. Tails are just waving you in, man. You're pull around a corner, pull around a point into a pond, and they're just like beckoning you. Just come on, come get me, you know. So I'm starting to see a lot of tails. You want to ask me? I think we'll get into that maybe, you know, in a few.
Yeah.
But but baits, dude, man, lures. Give me a crawl. Give me a crawl on either a weighted weedless or a underspin, a lazy man underspin.
Yep.
You give me a crawl, a bug, and a top water.
That's it.
And that's it, dude. Top water.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. What I would have got in on what I wanted to speak on with what I call pick three. That's 3 setups. You got 3 setups. What you're gonna take? What's going to be on them? So you throwing bait casters or spin cast reel?
Honestly, man,
it all depends.
The past 2 years, dude, I've been on free time, you know, and solo. I'm fly fishing more than I'm not. The only time that I won't is when I can't, and I still want to go fishing, dude. And a lot of times I'll be persistent or stubborn, whichever way you want to look at it, or however you want to call it. And I'll pull out the 10 weight. Most of the time, I'm not pulling out the 10 weight unless I'm going to those 30, 40 pound range.
Right. Those big, you know,
those bulls out by the islands, man. You know, those bulls out in the passes by the Gulf and whatnot. And that's what time is getting close to that time too. But as far as interior fish, man, you know those fish within the 3 to 15 pound range.
Yep.
I mean, you can man, a 10 pound fish is going to wear you out on the 8 weight. And be super. You're gonna fight for 30 minutes. But I'll pull out. It gets too windy. I'll pull out the 10 weight, just for that little extra weight on the line, man. And but if I'm not throwing that, dude, honestly, man, I've gotten to the point to where, you know, I grew up throwing bait casters. But I've gotten to the point, and it really started because I was getting gearing up for the guide service, and definitely didn't want to have, you know, bait casters in all my clients' hands. Man, I went full spinning, dude, and I've gotten to the point to where I'm comfortably accurate with flipping, pitching.
Right.
And a lot of the fishing we're doing super close quarter combat.
Super close
quarter combat. I got a 6.6 rods, you know, with super short butt, some customs with the butt completely just cut off. So it's not.
I like them like that.
So it's not beating you in the
gut, hip.
Yeah, man, my gut's kind of protruding already, right? So I'm not trying to blow a cast when you got that opportunity. And just these little, I've gotten really, you know, because people will still be kind of blown away, or they'll ask, dude, how are you fishing spinning reels? You know, how can you do this, that, and the other? I mean, I want to be able to just press the button and flip and twitch and flip. I'm like, dude, look, I'm doing the same thing, man. And that's just, that's a preference thing. That's something I've grown comfortable with, and man, I love it, man. I love being able to, you know, put that lure in front of those fish and watch it all.
Oh yeah, and in the bugs, it's much easier to cast on spinning unless you got like a finesse style setup for a bait caster. They do have some with the shallower spools, you know, that it'll handle a little bit lighter line and stuff. And I mean, the line's super expensive though. The stuff they sell it's kind of crossed over from Japan. Some of the bass are so pressured over there they have to downsize their baits really small. Okay. So there's a flipping reel Luz makes that actually can cross over with that shallow spool, and it allows that line to come off that reel a little easier. It don't hold as much line, so they'll burn. So you got to throw like 10, 12-pound braid, but with like a 12-pound fluoro, but to get like 60 yards on there. But that's still plenty of for the 10-pound fish. You can be all good.
Yeah, dude. And
crank the drag down a little bit. Yeah, you let the bruisers come through. But man, you on your bugs, man. What color? It depends on time of year. What
all right, dude.
Would the hatch like a crab color or shrimp or something more bait fish color?
Nah, dude. I'll tell you, man. I think I'm one. I'm not saying I know for sure. I'm not the only one. I know there's other guys, but the most seems like Mr. Heath. Like his most popular offerings gotta be the first and second generation curly tails. Yeah. You know, and then now you got Rex and some other guys kind of doing a lot with the bitty bugs and the flats bugs, but I don't hear much about the pyramidal bugs. Dude, the pyramidal bug and blue crab.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
It's become my go-to, man. And on that tiny little one, number one, man, I've caught probably for sure some of my biggest redfish
on that little small permit bug, and then that clickbait shrimp too. When they in the grass and they busting the shrimp, dude, you gotta get some of them.
I haven't worked them yet, man. I got a couple of them and plan to use them and hadn't even used them, man. I'm kind of stubborn, like I mentioned already, probably. But
you get set in your ways.
I'll get stuck, and dude, like that pyramidal bug is just money for me, man.
Definitely. And then you hit the nail on the head with when you said underspin. Oh, that little extra flash go a long way.
Now, sometimes, dude, when we talk about spooky fish, most people don't think Louisiana. You got a lot of people love to crack jokes, man. There's a technique to it. I don't be fooled. You see people seeing all the posts and the videos, and y'all got it easy. You can't do that in Florida. All those. You got those kind of discussions, right? People busting balls, man. It just now it's definitely a totally different world now, for sure. I'm not saying it's not, but I could tell you a story of guys that there's an old guy down the road in St. Bernard Parish. And this dude put a piece of rubber certain times of year. Now they call it a redfish jubilee. The redfish are piled up in them cold in the cold weather. They pile up in the deep water canals. Man, they got this one old guy, man. He'll put a piece of rubber off. I'll catch him on anything. He'll hook a piece of tire rubber. Somebody had a blowout and they got to scrap a tire on the side of the road and pitch it out there. All right, so you got those stories. Got those stories. But dude, last week, I got on the fish within 5 minutes of launching. I mean, when I say I got on the fish, I was seeing them. Now they weren't schooling or nothing, but they were piled. There was one here. And you look that way, there's one. In your peripheral, they got two. They got one crawling right there. So the first 5 fish I came across, literally the first 5 fish I came across would not eat. And I say they wouldn't eat. They weren't spooking. Each one of those fish gave me between 4 to 6 casts. I was able to change lure in mid, and they did. It took me about 2 or 3 swaps. To figure out what they wanted. The first 30 to 45 minutes, and I mean they were just oblivious. You would drag it, bump them right in the nose, trying to snag them, and they would not take. So
get that reaction bite, and they just didn't want to react to what.
There are those times, and when I'm mentioning that because you mentioned the extra flash. Now sometimes we'll have the fish and they get finicky, and there's a few reasons. We know when it comes to the barometric pressure and it comes to the full moon, but it also comes to the bow fishermen. The boat, and I don't want to get on the. I don't want to start make no enemies over here, man.
Right.
You got pressure. You got super pressured area. You got areas that are just super pressured. So sometimes the fish can just be skittish and funny acting. So sometimes I'll take the spinner off. I'll take the underspin off, and I'll use super low profile, super small profile, soft landing. I'll even downsize my paddle tails from 3s and 4s. I'll go down to 2.75s. I'll go down to 2.75 on the craws, and put slightly smaller, just for a more subtle presentation when they're acting, kind of funny. But most cases,
sometimes they got an attitude problem. They need a little check,
But most of the time, dude, when I'm throwing, like I said, 90% of the time, I'm sight fishing, man. I'm throwing craws and bugs, and I'll hook a crawl pretty much any color, but I like white, and then I like the pearl and the blue crab color.
Blue crab color, yes.
Blue crab color, man, and I'll put that lazy man hook on them, and be able to just whack them pretty much year round.
So yeah, Lazy Man's got one, and then Gambler's got one called a Does It. They got a gold or a silver blade too, little willowtail. It's good stuff. Fishing the sand, the grass flats over here with the sand pockets, with a paddle tail with that extra underspin on there, get that extra flash. Especially when when you burn in gold spoons and stuff, and then sometimes they hitting that, but then they want something a little different. Might be more of a mullet bite they're on. They like chasing mullet more and stuff. But yeah, and man, y'all got a good thing over there. Like that's
definitely, dude. Yeah, and it's nuts when you're sight fishing, man. It opens up. You're able to, when you watch the whole thing, man. The whole thing just play out.
Oh yeah.
And when you watch their reactions, whether it's aggressive or whether it's if they're rejecting it, you're watching them. So if I see they're just smashing it, dude, there's times that I'm throwing them lazy man on the crawl, and you put it anywhere within a 10-foot radius of them, they're breaking their vertebrae and getting pissed at it, man.
Yeah.
So
that's how they get on top water too. I know you mentioned top water. That's close to my heart right there. That's what definitely. I love. That's what I love.
If I'm not sight fishing, I'm throwing top water. And sometimes I'm top water sight fishing, man. So most of the time, dude, if I'm not sight fishing, it's definitely top water.
Especially when they're aggressively like blowing up on the top of the surface. Really, you hear that toilet sound like a toilet bowl flusher when they just blasting it. They just blasting it. Man, you can't beat when the redfish come up the water sideways and just crush the top water. Especially when you see them waking up behind it, just about like a steam engine, just about to bam. They're about to just amazing. Get on it. So yeah, man,
great stuff.
And then and that's the thing. You've been around in waters for a long time. You transitioned into that kayak, and then you went on out and started a business, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, for me, man, like I said, I gave the whole kind of the rundown on the small vessel type, the small boats, small pirogues, and from floating docks to pirogues and everything in between, man. And this is before kayaks were a thing. I mean, of course, they had river kayaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now, probably going on 7 years since I got my first kayak, actual kayak, and it was a $75 Pelican off of Craigslist, right?
Oh yeah. All of us might have started there somehow.
That's a funny story, man, because my first trip out, man, I got about 30 minutes from the launch. I was just going into the danger zone. I was just going into the zone.
Full speed.
All of a sudden, my butt was soaking wet, man. I looked behind me, the whole stern was underwater, man. I had to get out and drain it in the marsh for about 15. It took me about 15, 20 minutes to get it out, man.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I had to slightly upgrade pretty quickly, man.
Pretty quick, Yep, no doubt. Dang.
Yeah.
So you kicked off your business, huh? That's been
it's 100% full time now. And I'm saying it like that, man. It's not tooting my own horn, man. I'm pretty hyped on it, dude. I really am, because it's something I've been wanting to do my entire life to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Even before kayak fishing even entered or was on my radar, I knew that I wanted to work in a way that allowed me to live in the outdoors and be able to help others connect with the resource in the ways that I love to. So I had a job, dude. That's what I call it, a job,
right.
a real job. And it wasn't even 9 to 5, man. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. I was in sales and marketing and sales for a local athletic company, and family-owned small business. Close friend of mine was the owner. So that's how that happened. But anyway, long story short, man, I was with them for a few too many years. I was burnt out a few years before that.
Right.
And I started off supposed to be doing the social media and stuff like that, and turned out doing A to Z. Running the store A to Z.
Catch y'all.
Had me customer service. Had me doing customer service, ordering, inventory, et cetera, dude. In retail, just I learned a lot though, man. I did.
Yeah.
A lot of that transferred and converted. Maybe convert that into a lot of stuff that I'm doing now. All right, so dude, I mean, I guess we all know it. You know, we know what's happening these past couple of years, man. Coronavirus hit.
Yep.
Coronavirus hit, and I was out of work for a solid 3 months. And what was awesome about it is I've been planning to do this for years.
Yeah.
And this has been a goal of mine, and I've been doing it, you know, on a part-time basis I've been guiding on a part-time basis, unofficially, for about the past 5 years.
Yeah.
But it was only when I had time, and dudes would catch me off Instagram and stuff like that. And so coronavirus hit. 3 months, I'm fishing every day, just going nuts on the fish. And I just decided, man, I made the decision. I said, look, that coronavirus just was kind of just a fire under my tail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just lit that fire under my butt.
Lit it up.
And it was like, dude, you know what? You need to just go ahead and jump. And you know, I jumped off that cliff, and, you know, I've been getting some bumps and bruises along the way, man, but that's what it's about. I wouldn't have it any other way, man, because now it's like if I don't fish, I don't eat. And I freaking love it, man. You know,
yeah,
it's pressure. Yeah, there is times to where it's pressure, but just being able to offer that connection to others, dude.
To experience that.
You know, to offer that experience to others, and to use my experiences to enhance their experience with our resource. It's just, you know, it's what wakes me up in the morning, man. That's
right.
That's my caffeine, dude.
It's cool to still have that passion and drive about it too. And, you know, like you said, coming up, bumps and bruises, that school of hard knocks. That's what makes you stronger, man, and keeps you growing.
That's how I came up, man. So it's you know, ramen noodles, potted meat, peanut butter and jelly, man. That's life, man. Sometimes it is what it is. You got. You know, and I'm all right with that, man. If I'm doing it for myself, man. So I feel 100% better, man. Super hyped on it. Next month makes my first full year in business.
Sweet. And what all do y'all offer? You're doing like a full guide service. You have the equipment, the gear, everything. 100%. Shipping opportunities, and tell everybody where you're based out of exactly.
All right, dude, 100%, man. I get a lot of questions on social media, people asking about, you know, details and info for trips, no matter how many times I post it or have it posted up on the site.
Yeah.
And that's all good, man. I love it, man. I love interacting with the folks, man, when they're showing interest in something that I'm doing. Excuse me. So I'd say that I wanted to start off I didn't want to spread myself too thin, because I'm the type of guy that I like to be all in or nothing, and I like to be able to. I don't want to shortchange myself, but definitely not anybody that I'm working with on a client basis. So what I did is I this has been cooking in my brain for years now. You know, so when I launched the business, I already kind of had the game plan and had it all laid out. I had used, ever since I first got on Instagram, I had it in my mind. I had a goal in my mind that I'm using this as a digital resume, as a digital portfolio, because one of these days, I'm going to be doing this full time, man. So when I actually decided to just pull the trigger, I told myself, man, that it's going to just pedal to the metal. And this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to go after, whatever it takes, you know. So started off with four kayaks, running Diablo paddlesports, Amigos.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely love them, man. Thomas and Megan, great folks, man, over there in the Austin area. You know, love the whole vibe of the community, of the company. You know, super small, super angler orientated. You know, you can definitely tell from the first paddle stroke that they're well thought out from the perspective of an angler. You know, it wasn't just some factory pushed out stuff. Not knocking anybody's stuff. Just you could tell they're hardcore and love what they build. All right, so it started off me thinking I'm gonna just do just basic inshore trips. But again, I had so many ideas just stewing and cooking for so many years. I said, okay, I'm just gonna expand it, man. So what I'm doing now, I'm offering day trips. in the interior marsh, 4 to 6 hour trips. And I like to tell people, and that's I lost my train of thought, that all equipment is provided, and all trips are guided. All trips are guided and all equipment is provided. It's not you're coming to rent a kayak and I send you on the way.
No, you're taking them out there.
100%, man. 100%. And that goes for all the trips, man. I'm with them 100%. And of course, you would think that most people would think that, already know that would be a given. But you'll come across a lot of people. Oh, what if I bring my own kayak, or what if I rent one from you and you show me where to go, and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, I always say that all equipment's provided and they're 100% guided. So
exactly.
Yeah, I provide all the equipment from A to Z, man, from A to Z. Now I don't have, I'm not running super technologically advanced systems and all that. I got a push pole. I got a push pole and a paddle. I'm in 6 to 18 inches of water with my folks 90% of the time. No need for pedals, no need for depth finders, et cetera, et cetera. You want to know how warm the water is, touch it. But anyway, so my operation is pretty streamlined in that regard in terms of gear. All the rods and reels, et cetera, man. Just long story short, man, all the gear is provided. So I'll do the basic inshore trips, and then I'll do interior and exterior marsh and the bays out to the barrier islands on the mothership. So we're offering day trips. To where it's a 3-person minimum on the mothership trips. We're offering day trips. You want to go out to the barrier islands, spend a day out there. We'll go from safe light to safe light, and just spend the day out there. Eat beach on the lunch, right? Eat lunch.
eat lunch on the beach.
Yeah, man. Eat some lunch on the beach, man. Hang out for lunch. Go back after them in the evening bite. And then I'm doing the overnight trips. Overnight,
yes, sir.
Overnight fish camping trips. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner's on me, man. I'm doing it. I'm offering meal options to where you can get the grits and eggs in the morning, turkey sandwiches in the afternoon, and some hamburgers and hot dogs in the evening. Or
something like it.
Or you can get some shrimp and grits in the morning, some jambalaya and char grilled oysters in the evening.
There you go.
And then I'm doing steaks and shrimp, whatever they want to do, man.
Whatever they want. Oh man, you got that 5-star treatment on the upgrade.
I'm giving them the options, just giving them those options, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a fun trip too, man. That overnight camping trip.
I got all the gear for that too. All the tents provided. I mean, I'm cooking. Dude, you're able to fish hard in the morning in the kayaks. You come back in the evening, fish hard in the surf for the speckled trout. You got a big old yellow mouse in the surf out there with a salinity. You got higher salinity out there.
Yes, sir.
And then at night, we're gigging for flounders.
Oh, yeah.
And then we start over, man. We start over in the morning, man.
Yeah, I see you got all your gear lined up. Look like you're going through, cleaning, get stuff set up.
Yeah, I got
get ready for the weekend. Yes, sir.
That's what I'm doing, man. I think tomorrow might be kind of tough with the weather, but I definitely got Sunday running.
Oh, I know. We had storms streaming in all day today. I slept good because we had it raining and stuff, but man, it sure does a trick. That lightning sure does a trick on them fish sometimes. So, man, I know we're supposed to have it's 90% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. And I was like, man, I said, the rain don't bother me a bit. I'll fish all day in the rain.
Yeah, the fish
start dealing with that electricity, that lightning, the stuff that go flash and boom. I don't like none of that. Especially when you're on top of the water with your lightning rod sticking straight up in there.
definitely better to play it smart, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever. Tell everybody the name of your guide business. And then I'll post a link in the show description when we post this, and on the video on YouTube of the contact info and everything. But Kayak Adventure Co. Explore Kayak Adventure Co. Right?
Yeah, Explore Kayak Adventures is the name of the business. The LLC and whatnot. But on Instagram, you can find us at explore_kayak_adco.
It's right there on the screen.
There you go.
If you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, it's right there along with his Instagram tag, Redfishology. And that's just, man, he started that. He had like a whole marketing scheme in itself right there. He's like, man, we're redfishology. I like that. That's how I found him. I found him by his famous redfish cradle pics, like the fish that you see with the close up of the face and all that. I said,
I
that's
like
how
that.
I found him. That's how I
I love
found
their
you.
eyes,
We
man. I love
connected on Instagram and been following each other for probably a little over a few years now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's how I find you. So that's a the
Strong
cradle shots
platform,
you
dude.
got are pretty cool. It's a good platform for growth of the business and then to gain a follow and all that. What kicked off them shots, man? You just
Well,
had
I
to
mean,
come up with something different. You out there by yourself and didn't have nobody take no picture. That's it, ain't it?
that's a big part of it, man. Honestly, man. And I was never, much of a fan of social media. I started brainstorming about the business, and I said, okay, I'm going to use it as a marketing tool. That's one
Yep.
thing. And then I started thinking, like, man, I'm out here just witnessing these beautiful fish. I want to share them, so I need a platform. So then I just started doing it, and you have to improvise and get creative. When you're out there by yourself and you don't have all the equipment. I'm armed with I was armed with nothing but an iPhone 5, man. And I'm out there with my iPhone 5 trying to figure it out and deal within the parameters of my gear and my ability, but also trying to be creative. And I gotta give a shout out, man, to a couple of the redfish OGs on Instagram, man. You got, guys like the Trail Chaser.
Yeah.
David down there in POC.
Yeah, I fished with him. I fished with David. Me and
I
David
fished with him
fished
too,
the
man.
same areas, man. He's a good dude.
He rolled out the red carpet for me when I came down, man. He was an awesome host. I fished with him there. Hope to get him over here one of these days. But just, so I'd look at the pictures and it's kind of, get some ideas. And then the other, I don't know this guy personally. I don't know him, but his Instagram is Ghost Water. So seeing just stuff like that kind of, was a lot of the inspiration behind it. And I got to mention those guys, man, because they just their creative, just what they were doing, just kind of sparked it for me. And then I just did my best to keep on trying to show and share, the beauty of the fish that I'm seeing firsthand, just to put it out there for folks to also enjoy, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then also, me being a contributor myself to some magazines and some media, you also contribute to
Martian Bayou Magazine.
Martian Bayou Magazine. Yeah, that's an outfitter shop too, right there in
They're in Mandeville now.
Mandeville. They were in New Orleans, right?
They were dead in the center of the French Quarter.
Dead in the center of French Quarter. That's right.
Smack in the center of the French Quarter. The magazine. I think they've been publishing for. They've been printing for I'd say 20, 21 years.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's two brothers, Chris and Ben Tibley. They definitely got a top-notch production publication, but now they've moved to a new location. It's been close to a year now, and they have a full-fledged.
They blowing up, dude.
They have a full-fledged outfitter, man. They're not just selling gear. They're booking trips. They're doing. I mean, and then the magazine. It's. I feel like they've done a really good job. It's a free mag. It's 100%.
Right. That's how the one magazine I write for over here. It uses sponsor. Ad dollars to put it out there for free. Yep.
So they got that good balance, man. That good balance, that perfect balance of relevant ads and pertinent and relative, good information at the same time, to where they're not just bombarding you with ads. You got the ads that you want to see, and so they have a good balance, man. A great balance. They've worked that out, and I write for the magazine every month. I've been doing it for a while now. Got some new stuff coming with the magazine that I'm actually going to be working with them on.
Oh, cool.
There'll be a new section in the magazine called the Tackle Box.
Oh, right on.
The Tackle Box. It'll be a 2-page spread, and it'll give companies an opportunity to advertise for a pretty cut rate, a really good price. And it'll run. They'll be on that page once they sign that contract and they sign up for that Tackle Box. They'll have an ad every month of the year. So if anybody's interested in that, man, you can give me a holler about that now too, man. The Tackle Box, holler, man.
Oh, sweet, man. That'd be a cool little deal. I enjoy, like me, I didn't like writing in high school. I didn't like doing no book reports and no essays and all that stuff. And then, my senior year, literature teacher actually comments on my stuff. She says, "I just can't believe you so into this with this, just writing about something you're passionate about. Where was this at in high school?" I said, "I ain't want to write about no Shakespeare. What's up?"
Right.
She's like, "No." She said, "I like it how you turn something fun into
Yeah,
what you're
dude.
doing with it, and it's super cool, being
Yes.
able to write
Definitely.
about your experiences on the water, share with everybody else on a platform that lets you. So that's cool. Martian Bayou, check them out.
Martian Bayou, man.
Yep, hit
Great
them up
guy.
at the
Great
store
guy.
there in Mandeville. They also a Jackson Kayak dealer, so shout out for the
Yeah,
JKs in there in the house.
they
So
definitely
yeah,
are.
cool deal, man. Well, man, dude, I loved having you on here, brother.
Glad to be here, man. Glad. Thanks for having me, dude.
So at this point, we usually give you get the guest the stage, man, and any shout outs you want to give. It's all yours right here. Get some sponsor shout outs or some props or whatever you got, man.
All right, man. Never was much into the whole pro staff thing, but I'm not gonna get on a soapbox, man. I was always I looked at it as I wanted to develop relationships. I wanted to develop relationships with companies that I believed in, stuff that I was using already. And
Yep.
I've been fortunate to develop some really solid and good working relationships with a bunch of folks, man. And I'm all about cross promotion, man. I'm still my one and only employee. I'm my own one and only employee.
Dang.
I'm still trying to pay myself, man. I can't, give all that free promo for a discount code.
Right.
I don't need you to give me no free stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, not knocking it at all, dude. To each their own. But I've worked a lot with the local rod company, Zook Rods. Zook Rods is out of the New Orleans area. Everything from super light to super heavy. Custom rods. We have a manufactured rod series. I started with him, got him to build me a custom, and absolutely loved it. Loved what he was doing. Loved the fact that it was local. He was my neighbor. Able to be with him through the entire process. He pulled my thoughts and my vision for the rods that I wanted, and he just made them golden, man. He made them
Oh,
awesome.
sweet.
Fell in love with them. Then he started doing a manufactured rod series, and I started doing pretty much a lot of his R&D and all of his testing before he went to market with them. So we developed a relationship over that time. I'm doing all the testing and R&D and bouncing stuff off of him. He's bouncing stuff off of me, and now, man, I'm his one and only sales guy, man. I'm a sales rep for Zook Rods too, man. That's my side hustle. You got to have more than one iron in the fire, man. Especially when you're starting a business, especially when you're starting a business in times like these, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I sell rods for Zook Rods. Worked a lot with Robert Watts, man. Robert's great guy. Lazy Man Hooks out of Sulphur, Louisiana. He's definitely shown a lot of love over the years, man, and vice versa. Have a great working relationship with Robert Watts, man. Not sponsored or anything, but can't do what I do without a good pair of polarized shades.
Yep.
Breakline Optics has been really good to me. Great group of guys. Love their shades. Definitely have helped me, in my pursuit for addiction. I would say my addiction to sight fishing.
For sure.
Can't leave out Diablo, man.
Yep.
Thomas and Megan are, super cool. Love their boats, man. Kind of shouted them out already. Actually just got back from a road trip a month or so ago. I made that haul from New Orleans to out there to pick up some more kayaks, man, to beef up the fleet. And
Next time you come out, you got to give me a shout, man. I'm only an hour and a half
do.
from Austin, man.
Oh man,
I'm right
great,
there.
man. That'd be
I'm
great,
right there.
man.
What crawls are you throwing? You got a certain brand you like on deal?
All right, man. Now this is a sad story, and it's not a story. I'll be real short, but it's Shoo Lures, man. Shoo Lures was a Slidell company, a company out of Slidell, Louisiana, which is a suburb of New Orleans. Had a bunch of solid anglers running it, and dudes were these were anglers making stuff for anglers, and I started using. I had been using them for a good while, man, and after a solid year or so, they just reached out and they're like, "Dude, we want to work with you, man. Let's do it. Let's make it happen." flooded me with craws, man, and just we kept it going. And now, you know, the owner of Shushu Lures, him and I are not only friends, like good friends. We fish a lot together. He's got a sight fishing, stand on his boat. Every once in a while, I'll take a break and go
There you go.
do some grocery shopping from the sight tower, man.
Oh yeah.
But so Shushu Lures now, they actually, sadly, man, they went out. They went out of business. He just became so busy. He got so busy with his career, and it's just kind of had to put it on the back burner for now. So I'm pretty much to the end of my stash, man. So
I got some for you. I got you covered.
I've been kind of just mixing them up. They got another local guy over here close to me, Tail Chasers, Chris Cochran.
Yes.
Tail Chasers. He shot me. I gave him my idea that I wanted for some blue crab craws with a white underbelly. Mm-hmm. And I wanted them to be as realistic colored as possible. And he shot some for me. I got a bunch of those now. If not that, I'm throwing I like the Cajun craws.
Cajun lures,
the Cajun lures. That's about it, man.
Some good stuff, man.
Definitely, dude. Definitely. And people say, "All right, how you throwing bass baits for redfish, man?" Pretty much all the redfish baits that we had were once bass baits, man.
They were once bass baits too. Yep. Especially when they way up in that grass, you got to have a weedless presentation.
Yeah, man.
They were hollow-bodied frogs. Kill them.
Dude,
on them flood tides, dude.
There's some spots over here where the SAV, the submerged aquatic vegetation, getting technical, man. The SAV gets so thick, you can't do anything with it. Even with weedless, you're wrestling. And I'm gonna say this. I gotta say that I didn't say it earlier. The grass is your friend, man.
Oh yeah.
At least the grass. It gives them that habitat, but it also just helps clean up and filtrate that water.
And it's cover for the bait fish and the crabs.
Exactly.
And it's structure for that fish. They feel kind of happy around
that microcosm, man. A microcosm of activity, man.
Showing up.
And definitely, man, fish the grass heavy. I'll run them weedless craws, and sometimes it gets so thick. I'll throw the top water frogs, and redfish will come from under the grass mat, come out with a head full of grass. Coming out like a swamp
just like the bass dude, just like the bass dude,
like a ghillie suit.
You can burn them on top of the grass. Actually, sometimes I'll just throw a EWG wide gap weedless hook with no weight on the crawl and just pitch it to them on a spinning reel.
Definitely.
Same thing, just man, the grass. I love when they in the grass like that, especially that submergent stuff you're talking about.
Gotta improvise, man. And it's getting that time. The cold fronts kind of set all that back, man. We haven't. I was in an area a couple of days ago that's by this time of year, last year, and the past few years, as far as I can remember, it was blown up, man. But this year, I think this cold front set us back a little bit, man, because it was pretty sparse, man. It was, there wasn't much at all.
There's a lot of our bass lakes are like that too. With that hardcore freeze we had, killed a lot of the submergent vegetation, the milfoil and hydrilla. It's just starting to come back with those water temps getting above 70. So looking forward to that too. But man, once again, brother, lots of info on here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, brother.
For this segment here, brother. And thanks to all the listeners. This wouldn't be possible without everybody out there. Waterloo Rods and True Storm Co. for the support for this show. Other sponsors for the Paddle and Fin Network. We appreciate everybody listening. Like I said, it's not possible without listeners and support from them. So with that being said, another edition, Chasing Tides wrapped up. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right.
You.